Hello and welcome to Unleashed, the podcast about the people, the projects, and the culture of Big Red Dog. Each episode we sit down with a team member to discuss what they're doing on a daily basis to chase their passions, help our clients become successful, and make engineering business cool. I'm Sean Terrio-Smith, your co-host, along with Kelly Dakin. Kelly, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Sean.
I'm excited to get this show on the road. We're going to San Antonio this one.
Let's do it.
Well, welcome back to another episode. This time, as we mentioned, we're going into San Antonio and talking to our team members in that office. As many people know, we are located in San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, Sugar Land, Austin, and Lubbock. So we've got offices scattered across the entire state of Texas. This time, we've got the genuine pleasure and privilege to talk with Amanda Saldivar, who is an EIT assistant team leader or project manager with our residential team in the San Antonio office. Amanda, it's good to see you. How are you doing today?
Hey guys, pretty good. Happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's good to have the first San Antonio employee finally. We'll have to break our way over to Sugar Land and Dallas shortly thereafter. I think they're going to get jealous here pretty soon. So, in no particular order, but San Antonio was our second office in the firm, and it is our second largest. And San Antonio is definitely a very thriving market for land development. There's a lot of stuff going on in the city of San Antonio. It's one of my favorite cities in the state of Texas. I won't put them in order, but I do like San Antonio, and might be shortly behind Houston in my favorite list. So it's good to finally get to that neck of the woods. So Amanda, I wanted to kind of go over your background a bit. I know that you're an alumna of the University of Texas at San Antonio. We actually have a few UTSA alums in the firm, but could you go over your background and interest originally in getting into this field, and why you chose civil engineering originally when you went to college?
Yeah. So, like you said, I went to UTSA. Proud Roadrunner. We have several, like you said, alum here in the office, and we're kind of taking over, especially with those Longhorns and those Aggies. But at UTSA, so like most Roadrunners, for civil engineers, what usually interests us most was our structural classes. We have great faculty at our structural classes. But when I came out, almost ready to graduate from college, I heard about Big Red Dog from a mechanical classmate of mine. And he knew Chris Wygand, our old president of the San Antonio office. And I went ahead, reached out to Chris. I sat with him, and I had no idea about land development. Didn't know a thing. Taking my classes at UTSA, I don't think I was prepared for it. At least I can say a lot of what I'm doing or what I've done here at Big Red Dog definitely learned on the job. School was just a support, just knowing my technical items. So yeah, that's how I got into land development. Like I said, I originally wanted to do structural, but I took a chance. Chris took a chance on me, and I've loved it. I've loved it ever since. I can't imagine doing anything else.
So, had you done any internships in structural, or you just based on the classes that you were taking, you thought you wanted to go into structural?
Yeah, based on the classes. Mm-hmm. So what actually got me into engineering was the fact that I'm not the creative type. I'm more technical, more analytical. So engineering is just what interested me the most. So structural was the same way. Did not have any internships. But so my first industry job was at Big Red Dog, and I'm here, 5.5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Nice. Yeah, that kind of goes to show the staying power of the first experience, I think. And you kind of touched on your original inexperience. I think that's pretty common across anybody who's getting into land development and being a consultant right out of the gate. Our curriculums just simply don't prepare us for the level of expertise or level of communication even that, we need to succeed in this industry. I think it really depends on our ability to go out there and find internships or externships or co-ops and generate that experience hands-on in the beginning. And I think for a lot of people, getting an internship is not just an opportunity to find a job when you get out of school or figure out what land development is all about. It's really to figure out if land development or consultancy or being a consultant rather is for you in the first place. I mean, I think the CEO and leadership have said it on other interviews in the past that, not everybody will succeed in this industry. Not everybody will succeed in Big Red Dog. And it's not necessarily, a good or bad thing. It's just a matter of, do you fit this particular career path? A lot of people want to specialize. A lot of people want to do very specific things, and you can do that in multiple varieties. But to be a consultant, there's a lot of additional requirements and a lot of additional things that you need to be passionate about to be able to succeed. So being able to communicate exceptionally rather, proving ourselves wrong there perhaps by stuttering on that. But communicate exceptionally, being able to work with clients directly, work with other jurisdictional authorities directly, other consultants directly, is very, very important. It's not something you can just get straight out of college. So it's cool that you left, we were still in college or you're about to leave college and you got kind of a full opportunity to kind of go immerse yourself in this industry. So right off the bat, what drew you to be a consultant? What was the most exciting aspect of being a graduate engineer, an entry level position with the firm?
So off the bat, when I started at Big Red Dog, I was doing more than just design, talking with clients and talking with these reviewing entities like the city and the county. It's something that I really enjoyed. And like you said, I'm sure it's not for everybody. Engineers come in all shapes and sizes, we're all very different. We're pretty complex people. So I'm just the type of engineer that likes to do a little bit of both. I'm a people person. I enjoy working with everyone, both my coworkers and our clients. So that's what interested me the most. Is that I was able to do more than just sit behind a computer and design. So I liked it.
You mentioned that land development was not really necessarily something that classes prepare you for. And in your last answer, you mentioned how you enjoyed talking to people and being, developing these interpersonal relationships within the company and externally with our clients and the government entities that we work with. Yeah. When you got here, say it's your first week, were you immediately thrown into projects, immediately facing clients? Can you tell me a little bit about what that was like coming right out of school? Yes.
Well, I can first off say that my experience was very unique because when I started at Big Red Dog, I was employee number 5. So there was Chris, who was a PE. We had David and Bill, who were designers, and then Russell, who was just a fresh new PE. So then there's me. So because I was the only AIT, I was thrown in everything. I would go out nothing was off limits. I would go out to sites. I would talk to clients. Everything was just thrown at me, and in a good way, because that's the only way I learn is it's a sink or swim world out there. Right. I was able to catch on and just do well. It was good.
Great. Yeah. So what in your background really kind of resonated with you regarding you said you were a people person, something that, kind of cultivated that sense of wanting to go out and have conversations, develop relationships. Was there anything in your work experience, personal life that, always kind of fostered that when you were coming into this industry?
That's kind of just been the way I've always been. Before, while I was in college, I worked in the service industry. So, of course, service industry, you work with people every day. So, and I really enjoyed it. So, and I can just say that coming from that background and being here at Big Red Dog, it's really helped in the long run. You know, I'm able to make those relationships, throughout the past couple of years. So it's paid off.
You mentioned the service industry, and to me, I think it's really one and the same, right? We're at the end of the day, we're providing a service to clients. Communication is important. You know, engineering is just one piece of what we do. And I think it's so important that, you know, we take care of our clients the right way. Mm-hmm. We're communicating throughout the process. And I think I didn't know that about you, but it all makes sense now. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And again, that's why, consulting, you know, half of our job is consulting. So, knowing your customer and, understanding your client, it's important.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, you kind of, when you spoke about your service experience, I honestly think that engineers and professionals in any kind of professional services, whether you be an attorney or accountant or anything like that, having some kind of unique experience, whether it be in food service or hospitality or anything like that, is actually very, very powerful. Even though, you know, a lot of people kind of say, oh, it's just a high school or a college job. I worked as a bartender, and I attribute my bartending experience directly to my ability to communicate effectively, because it was a very fast, on your feet, quick. You had to be in the mindset of taking care of people and connecting with people in a very rapid way. A lot of engineers, professionals, they have that tendency to just want to stick to themselves, or maybe not necessarily introverted, but they're not in that mindset of, this is a person that I need to connect with, figure out what value I could provide to them in a very quick way. And that's what food service basically demands. If you want to be successful and get good tips or be, effective in that industry, you have to learn that very fast. So people who did food service or any kind of service industry jobs in their college career or high school career, I think, honestly, I think that's an important aspect to highlight even once you're getting into this career. I think that's great. I think it's a good little tidbit. I think it pays dividends for sure. So switching over to to a little bit about the San Antonio office. As I said before, it's the second office that we opened. You mentioned Chris, who was the original president there. Now we have Russell over there, kind of leading things. And could you talk about the culture there, a little bit about San Antonio life in general? What makes land development in San Antonio unique?
Again, I'm not sure. Well, actually, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this, but I am born and raised San Antonio. Proud of my city. Just working here in this office and having all of our projects here in town. It's driving around town. It's something that I really enjoy, and that kind of reflects all throughout the office. We have a lot of people here in this office that are just proud of our city, whether they're from here or not, and proud of our work. So that kind of helps our culture. Each one of our offices, I could, being here five years, I could tell that we're all very different. But one thing I can describe about San Antonio's culture is just one big family. We all come from different backgrounds. We are all different ages, but we're all very, very close, considering the amount of growth that we've experienced over the past couple of years. So
awesome! It must be really cool to a common response that we get a lot of times talking to people is that they find it very rewarding to be a part of your city's growth and development and the way it's changing. It's really cool to, drive around and point to a project and say, hey, yeah, I spent how many months of my life working on that thing and now it's being built. And you also come from a family of engineers. Is that right?
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about that and how that kind of shaped your path towards engineering?
Yeah. Well, I'm the oldest of three. I have a brother and sister. They're twins. So I chose engineering first. And I think we're all the same. We're all very, we prefer to be analytical and technical over creative. It's not a bad thing. It's good. The world needs more engineers.
Definitely.
But So my sister is a MEP engineer here in town, and my brother is a structural engineer here in town as well. So we're all very proud to be from San Antonio, as we're still here.
You got all the service lines covered, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys all go to UTSA?
My brother and I did. We were both from UTSA, and my sister decided to go across the U.S. And go to Penn State. She went to Penn State. So
Right on.
yes.
Nice. So that's pretty cool. You've got a whole multidiscipline firm, inside your family, basically.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, we share stories, work stories, and because it's engineering, like for example, working with MEPs and structural here at Big Red Dog, me personally, I know what they're talking about, and it's nice to share that between the three of us.
Nice. Yeah, I could definitely relate. My father's from the structural side of things. I've got a chemical and electrical engineer in the family too. So
Nice.
I think it's a common story, a common thread. A lot of consultants and professionals that I meet in this industry. A lot of people just seem to have come from family backgrounds that kind of lent itself to this industry. So it's cool that you get a chance to get that broad experience or broad perspective. A lot of people don't get that opportunity.
Yeah.
So, are there any specific projects or any particular several projects, even if you have a few in mind, that you really enjoyed working on, that you felt that kind of elevated that San Antonio culture, that really brought that narrative front and forward? What are some specific things that you've worked on in the past that really made you excited to be a part of the team and contribute to that landscape?
So when, like I think you previously mentioned, I'm part of the residential team here at Big Red Dog. One of the first projects I worked on right out of college was the old Univision site located downtown off Cesar Chavez. It's now called Agave Apartments. It's right off the river, beautiful site, infill development, one of my favorite types of projects. And it's definitely one project I'm super proud of because one, I've learned so much from it. I was able to learn so much from it. Because I was fresh out of school, learning a lot. It was a tough one, but it's nice to see the end product and seeing something downtown changing the area. So that's one of my favorites. I haven't always been part of the multifamily team or residential team. I used to work with commercial. I really enjoyed or loved working with In-N-Out Burger. That was probably one of my favorites. I'm not going to answer the In-N-Out Whataburger question.
Getting in trouble.
Yeah, I will get in trouble. But those are also, every now and then I miss the commercial projects just because, they're big national clients of ours. And so I like them. So swinging back into multifamily, it's been fun. I've been able to come full circle and experience more back here. So, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. San Antonio, I feel, has like a really special thing going on lately that, it's really revitalizing its culture, revitalizing its story. And there's just so many really interesting urban infill and mixed use developments coming in all over the city. I think it really has a unique opportunity to kind of steer itself into a really dramatically cool narrative. Like I mentioned before, it's just there's so much stuff going on. So it's cool that you get to be a part of that. You get to be a part of the overall development of the city. And that's part of the reason why I like San Antonio so much. There's just so much natural, organic stuff happening. It's much like Houston too. Houston has that same aspect in many ways too. It's just kind of occurs, grows, and generates it naturally. So kind of going back to a personal aspect. So with that engineering side to set aside, what else defines you as a professional in your personal life? What are some of the things that you like to do? Perhaps either in between office hours, on the weekends, et cetera.
Staying still kind of engineering related. I like to be involved. One, like I said, I'm a roadrunner, so I like to give back to the university as much as I can. I know UTSA every now and then has events where students can interact with professionals and ask them anything they want, ask for any advice when it comes to, their careers or the job search. So I like to attend whether they're meetings or luncheons. Those are one of the things I like to do outside of work. Because I always look back and, I guess, remember myself as fresh out of college and like so scared, and I had no idea what to do. So I try to help out in any way I can.
How did you kind of get involved in that? Do you remember as a student taking advantage of some of those opportunities to talk to professionals? Or
I feel like I did not take advantage of it. And I want, in a way, to reward the kids who are taking advantage of it. Because there's a lot of opportunities. Almost, I get an email a week saying, hey, can you attend this, a mixer, a luncheon, something. So I wanted to, in a way, help the kids that are actually working for it. So
is that through a club or is it through the engineering school?
Yeah, just through the engineering school at UTSA. Their career offices reach out to us. That's who sends us emails every now and then. So.
That's good. So any students that are listening to this right now, definitely take advantage of those types of programs within your school. I'm sure there are similar programs and things at your school too. So definitely check those out.
They go a long way. That's how I got this job. It was really about reaching out and who friend of a friend got me here. So just going out and meeting people, you won't realize how that can pay off later on. So relationships are important.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, especially it's effective when you're at a metropolitan university such as UTSA. You have immediate access to all these organizations, all these companies that are working within a very large metropolitan area. Some schools that are located a little bit farther out, we won't mention any names, may not have that immediate access to all those specific organizations and companies. But if you live in the city and you're going to college in the city, there shouldn't really be any excuse for you to not develop relationships with professionals and organizations that are active within the career that you want to be a part of. Or even if you don't even know if you want to be a part of it, you want to vet it out and you want to test it out. You want to see if perhaps this industry might be for you. You don't know for sure. You just get a membership. There's some student memberships you can get access to for very cheap at virtually any engineering professional society or in commercial real estate. And there's plenty of student memberships, developing leader memberships. And you just attend these meetings and you start shaking hands and saying, hey, I'm a student. I don't know effectively too much, but I'd like to, learn more. And people love talking about their craft, talking about their projects. They're really passionate about it. I mean, they're doing it for a living. And many of them, especially on the commercial real estate side, are putting their money, millions of dollars into it, so they'll love to talk your ear off about what they're working on. And if that excites you, then bingo, you found exactly what you're looking for and you know where to drill down on. So I think it's great that you're providing mentorship back to your student body that you're a part of. And, I do that here at UH, and it's immediately rewarding, or immensely rewarding rather, that, you're giving access to people, to stuff that they otherwise won't learn in school. And if they're taking initiative, it's even more value for them. That's good.
Definitely.
Cool. Kind of along the same lines, we have an intern or two in the San Antonio office this semester. We also have some full-time engineers that were former interns with Big Red Dog. Yes. So for anyone out there listening, what do we look for at Big Red Dog in our interns that we hire?
What in my opinion, the first thing I look for is drive. When I was in school, as I mentioned, a lot of what I've learned did not learn at school. I learned here on the job. So what we look for is just drive and excitement with these kids, because all we need is for them to say, I'm ready to learn, and we'll throw everything at you. So that's what's most important. That's the first thing that we see. We are, at least I'm not the first to look at, a 4.0 grade average. Having that drive and being excited about just engineering, that's more important. And it really shows. It really goes a long way in your working with these kids. And, if they are able to reach out and speak and work with our clients will see it too. So, yeah.
That's definitely good advice, no matter where you're at. Or what discipline you're in, that the same advice would go for a structural engineer coming out of school, mechanical, electrical, really any discipline. I think that's good advice.
Along those lines, if there was something that you could tell every single civil engineering student graduating from UTSA, or if maybe there is already something that you tell all the mentees that you have from the school, what is that typical piece of advice that you give them?
I think what I have said before in the past is that there's so much more outside of school. There's so much more to be excited for. When you're doing your search in your career and you're just trying to figure out what you want to do, whether it is structural or MEP or land development, to just have an open eye, have an open mind, actually, and just soak it all in, really. Just so you can figure out, it's really just going to benefit these kids. Is if they're there to learn, they'll figure out what they want and they'll go far in their careers.
Great. No, that's a great piece of advice. Definitely. A lot of people just kind of get really tunnel vision on what they're working on in school and the next test, the next exam, and the final project, and then getting a job, and they don't stop to think about all the auxiliary things, all the options they have actually as they leave school. And in this career field, there's so many different options. It's not just singular markets or singular states. It's global even. So that's a great piece of advice. So I guess we're getting around to the last question here. I think we want to double back down to on the personal side of things. So we've always often asked in the past, what are some things you guys want to do that you guys do on the weekends, or things you do with friends and family. So is there a particular hobby, a particular unique thing about you that you're really excited to get invested in on the weekends after you leave on a Friday? Is there some kind of project or hobby that you get in really invested in?
I don't know if it's pretty unique, but one of my biggest, especially if you work with me, I'm a really big, avid, just fan of music, all kinds of music. I love all kinds of music. I am known to just travel for music, whether it's just to go see a band in Red Rocks or maybe a music festival on the coast of California. I'm all about it. I just like the experience. I'm going to do it as long as I can while I'm young. So that's pretty much what I like to invest my time when I'm not working. Seeing local bands here in town, driving up to Austin or Houston. That's what I really enjoy.
That's awesome. I've never been to Red Rocks.
It's
amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. One, it's a great venue, and two, you can literally see anyone, and just the acoustics are great, really great. So yeah,
that's cool. I've heard really good things about it. I always see these really grandiose pictures of it, and it's just like this gorgeous canvas of rock and landscape, along with this music stage. I think the only thing I've personally ever attended that was very similar was a concert in central France. There was a Roman Colosseum, which had incredible acoustics, and it was very similar in structure to Red Rock.
Wow.
It's just that level of like an amphitheater style, but naturally built into the side of the hill, basically. And so, I think that would probably be a similar experience, but not with the level of beauty that I imagine of the Rockies. So that's cool. Yeah, no, it's exciting. Yeah, definitely. You have to get that in while you can, because there's, first of all, the bands that you listen to may not necessarily be touring in a few years. Who knows what, that's the case, but, just being able to travel in that level of freedom, it definitely, is good. I think the company supports folks in their travel endeavors, a lot of flexibility in that. So I'm glad you get an opportunity to scratch that itch and travel around.
Definitely.
Well, Amanda, I really appreciate it. I think that just about does it for this episode. I appreciate you coming by and sitting down with us, taking time to talk with us. And, it's been an exciting episode, first San Antonio employee. So thank you for representing the office and the market pretty well.
Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for taking it easy likewise.
On me. Great job. High five. High five. Yeah.
Well, that does it for another episode of Unleashed. As always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts. If you have an opportunity to leave us a rating or review in iTunes or whatever storefront or whatever podcast app flavor of choice you choose, that would be really helpful and benefit us greatly.
Better yet, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your fellow coworkers to give us a listen and a rating. That helps us out a lot. And also check out our website, bigreddog.com. You can see careers, you can see our projects, you can see our social media, you can see everything there. So check it out.
Well, thanks for listening, folks. Take care for now.